Sultan Bahu is often compared with the Shakespeare. Why and how?
So if we talk about Sultan Bahu, then primarily his concern is Sufism, and he is in the habit of when he has written his poetry, is in the habit of looking into his self, and his entire journey of poetry begins and ends with his being inner self. If you allow me to quote some verses from his poetry, then definitely I would do that.
Okay, we will when we go to Punjabi section, then we will discuss it in
Certainly.
detail. Okay, what is jurisprudence? What is the definition?
So a state is an entity which is consisted of provincial, first of all, federal government, and then provincial government, and then executive, which is also composed
That
of.
has right to impose taxes.
Sir,
When the panelist is asking about the stark definition of pinpoint, just articulate your answer appropriately.
right, sir.
That's the most important thing.
Sir, thank you very much.
Okay, and what about Article 25?
Article 25 deals with the education, right to education.
What is this?
It is from the age of 5 to 25 or Galban 18, the state has the responsibility of providing each child with
You studied law, so you must have a clear-cut picture of this because you also studied political science.
Sir,
So it has a direct link with this. They often ask about question on constitutions.
sir.
What does the Article 100 deal with?
So Article 100 is the last article of Part 3 of Constitution, which is relevant to federal structure, and then I'm not sure about that.
Okay, what is the latest amendment?
Latest amendment is the 25th Amendment.
What does it state?
It states that FATA, merger of FATA with KP,
What is the abbreviation of FATA?
federally administered tribal areas.
Which is the biggest part or agency there?
Mehmed Agency, if I'm not wrong.
Compare the philosophies of Imam Ghazali, Ibn Khaldun, and that of Iqbal.
Sir, actually, it is very difficult to draw a comparison among all of these, but one by one I can throw light upon them. If I begin with Iqbal, Iqbal's philosophy does consist of three or four fundamental ideas. First of all, there is the concept of ego, where we see the journey inward, where Iqbal suggests a youth or an ordinary person to look into his own self and try to know who he is. Then there is concept of ijtihad. Then there is a concept of mard moment, and where he quotes his poetry. And if you allow me, then definitely I will do that. If I look upon the philosophy of Ghazali, so
You
Ghazali,
can quote one verse, which is the most the extract or gist of that particular discussion you mentioned.
so खुदी में गुम है खुदाई तलाश कर गाफिल यही है तेरे लिए अब सलाहकार की राह.
Okay, what about Ibn Khaldun?
So Ibn Khaldun's philosophy is again, there are three or four fundamental features of Ibn Khaldun's philosophy. First of all, his concept of asabiya. When we look at the concept of asabiya, it means that there is a group thing where we have to create a certain mindset with a number of commonalities where most of the people are supposed to think in the same way, they are supposed to have a same kind of thinking level, and then they must take it into practice. So this is all about wasabi, and then further he gives details. For example, there must be a like-minded people, then there must be some common goal for them to be pursued. And if we talk about Ghazali's philosophy consists of primarily he is concerned with the critique of other philosophers like Al-Farabi and Ibn Sina.
Famous book of Imam Ghazali.
So Tahaffut al-Falasifa, and then Kimya Sadat is there.
What was Karl Marx theory and what thing developed from it?
So Karl Marx is regarded as one of those philosophers who has tried to interpret history in the most elaborative way. If we look at his dialectical materialism, here he has tried to show that there is an economic foundation in a society upon which there are certain pillars like politics, religion, morals, and to these pillars, these superstructures, it is the social consciousness that corresponds. So man is primarily the product of that economic foundation, and all these structures combine to make the overall structure of society.
What theories of philosophy you memorize or you have in mind now?
Existentialism.
What is existentialism?
So it is the concept that has been introduced by Jean Paul Sartre, and primarily it tries to convey the message that existence precedes essence. If we try to explain this, it means that man is the product of all actions he does throughout his life, and if he does it in a responsible way, then definitely he will gain certain ends and he will gain certain what he is pursuing for. But until he is not realizing it, he will not be able to do this. This is all about existentialism.
What was your fourth subject? Political science, British history, philosophy, Punjabi.
Gender.
What is the current wave of feminism?
So this is generally regarded as the fifth wave of feminism.
When it was started and another name for it?
So actually, there is no particular area that can be defined or particular era.
But what is being argued that? What is the major event which precipitated into it?
For example, in Pakistan, we have seen the events like Mera Just Meri Marzi. This slogan has been very popular among the most renowned female segment of society, where women, like the women of second wave of feminism, they have continued to demand that their fundamental right is that they must own what they have, what the nature has given them. So this is all about the fifth wave of feminism.
Speak for 1 minute on Aurat March, gender equality, and Pakistani culture.
Sir, in case of Pakistan, yes, there have been a number of females like Begum Rana Liaquat Ali and many others we have seen in the past who have continued to play their fundamental and their essential role throughout the history of Pakistan. But unfortunately, at the present moment, we are unlikely to see that kind of environment. For example, in case of Pakistan, female segment continues to face a number of threats which we call culture. If we begin with the domestic life, she is not allowed to leave the four wall without the permission of the male segments, be it her father, be it her husband, be it her brother. So she is not allowed. And when after that she has to get education, and unfortunately again she is not permitted to do that without the consent of those male segments. So this is how we look at the gender equality, where man continues to dominate and we are witnessing a patriarchal society in our societal culture. So this is all about the relationship between.
Do you remember the famous case of Mukhtar? Might throw light on it?
Sir, this case belongs to the district Muzaffargarh of Pakistan, where some people raped her brother and then they locked her brother in the door after threatening him that if he tells it outside, then he would be penalized for that. They went out and they told the people outside house that the brother of Mukhtar was caught red-handedly when he was raping her sister. So when the matter went to the panchayat of that district, they decided that the sister of that person, who was not the actually culprit, but he was supposed to be culprit, the sister of the culprit would be raped as well. So again, it was done, and this was.
Okay, coming to British history. Do you know when Scotland became the part of the UK?
So through Act of Union, which took place in 1701.
See the date again. Okay, now tell me the four countries comprising the UK along with their capitals.
Comprising the UK, Scotland, Ireland, and Welsh.
And England.
So England is definitely there.
And their capitals.
So I'm not aware about their capitals.
You study British history, so you must have an idea about the major thing.
So I would study it.
ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਕਲਾਸਿਕ ਸ਼ਾਇਰਾਂ ਚੋਂ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਪਸੰਦ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਮਾਡਰਨ ਸ਼ਾਇਰਾਂ ਚ ਤੇ ਕਿਉਂ ਪਸੰਦ ਹੈ ਕੀ ਸਿਨਫ ਹੈਗਾ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਰਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਸਟਾਈਲ ਦਾ ਤੇ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ
ਸਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਅਗਰ ਕਲਾਸਿਕੀ ਸ਼ਾਇਰੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਏ ਤੇ ਮੀਆਂ ਮੁਹੰਮਦ ਬਖਸ਼ ਔਰ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਬੁਨਿਆਦੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੀਆਂ ਮੁਹੰਮਦ ਬਖਸ਼ ਨੇ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਧੀ ਰਾਹ ਦਿਖਾਈ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਇਸ ਰਸਤੇ ਤੇ ਸਿੱਧੀ ਨੀਅਤ ਨਾਲ ਚਲਿਆ ਜਾਏ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਹੋ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਮੰਜ਼ਿਲ ਨਾ ਮਿਲੇ।
ਕਿੱਥੇ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੋਏ ਸਨ?
ਖੜੀ ਸ਼ਰੀਫ, ਆਜ਼ਾਦ ਕਸ਼ਮੀਰ।
ਤੇ ਡੈਥ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਹੋਈ?
ਉੱਥੇ।
ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਸ਼ਾਦੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ?
ਇੰਨਾ ਤਫਸੀਲ ਚ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਮੈਂ ਪੜ੍ਹੀ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹੀ।
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਸ਼ਾਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ? ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ, ਮੇਜਰ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੇ।
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ।
Being a CSS candidate, you must aware of everything because whatever you have written or described, half of your interview will be based on it.
Sir, so definitely I will do that.
So, and about his kalam,
So yes, I can quote some verses from his Lodan wala reya na khali, Lord kiti jis sachi, Lord ਕਰੇਂਦਾ ਜੋ ਮੋੜ ਆਇਆ ਲੋੜ ਉਹਦੀ ਗੁਣ ਕੱਚੀ ਫਿਰ ਇੱਕ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਲ ਜਲ ਹਾਰ ਨਹਾਰੀ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਫਿਰ ਸੀ ਪਾਸਾ ਭੁੱਖਾ ਮੰਗਨ ਚੜੇ ਮੁਹੰਮਦ ਔੜਕ ਭਰਦਾ ਖਾਸਾ ਫਿਰ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ ਨੀਚਾਂ ਦੀ ਅਸ਼ਨਾਈ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਫੈਜ਼ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾਇਆ ਕਿੱਕਰ ਤੇ ਅੰਗੂਰ ਚੜਾਇਆ ਹਰ ਗੁੱਛਾ ਜ਼ਖਮਾਇਆ
ਤੇ ਮਾਡਰਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੋਇਟ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਨਕਾਦ ਨੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ
ਮਾਡਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੁਨੀਰ ਨਿਆਜ਼ੀ ਅੱਛਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ
ਕੀ ਸਟਾਈਲ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਸੁਣਾਓ
मुनीर न्याजी की सब तो अच्छी चीज़ है कि उन्होंने एक नया अंदाज़ फिक्र अपनाया पंजाबी विच और उन्होंने समझने लिए भी अच्छा खासा दिमाग खपाना पैंदा
मसलन
मिसाल के तौर पे काल है कि ये वापस मुड़िया जिधर दा रुख कीता मैं जहर सी या वो अमृत सी सब अंत ते जाके पीता मैं कदे ना रुक के कंडे कड्डे जख्म कदे ना सीता मैं कदे ना पिछे मुड़ के तकिया कूद जदों भी कीता मैं फिर वो कुछ उंज भी रावां औखियां सन कुछ गल विच गम दा तौक भी सी कुछ शहर दे लोग भी जालिम सन कुछ मैनू मरन दा शौक भी सी
कुछ सानू मरन दा शौक भी
सानू
always recite the verses from your standard textbook or whatever book is mentioned not from net it's very important
sir thank you
ਮਾਇਆ ਤੇ ਟੱਪੇ ਚ ਕੀ ਫਰਕ ਹੈ
ਸਰ ਮਾਇਆ ਬੇਸਿਕਲੀ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਦੋ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਹਿੱਸੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ कैथारसिस होता है और टप्पा दो नहीं होंगे मिस्टर
okay having the company of myself what sort of outstanding achievement it is
sir so this is what I always call my achievement because throughout my life I have continued to struggle for that and when I write that I have the company of myself it means that there is a strong collaboration between my conscious and unconscious.
What were your majors in the law LLB honors? What you did?
Constitutional law, CRPC, and PPC.
In first 2 years, what were your minor subjects along with law?
Jurisprudence, political science, Islamic studies, Pak studies, English.
सियाह सिता से क्या मुराद है?
सियाह सिता हदीस की कलेक्शन है 6 किताबें हैं उसमें.
नाम पता है बुक्स के?
बुखारी शरीफ, तिरमिजी.
मुत्तफ़क़ अलैह कौन सी हदीस होती है?
मुत्तफ़क़ जिस पे तमाम लोगों की कंसेंसस है.
What are the qualities of a mujtahid?
So first of all, a mujtahid must be able to understand and comprehend the knowledge of Quran and Sunnah. His memory must be very good. He must be able to memorize things. And then he must study philosophy as well and overall religious sense. And then he must be a credible person.